is a feel-good Friday edition of the Morning Kickoff right here on Sports Radio AM 1300. The Zone. The number one Texas Longhorns went to Arkansas, and let's just say it did not go as planned. Number 4 Texas softball handles their business. The Knicks send the Pistons to Cancun. The Clippers force a game 7 after beating the Nuggets. Zach at the dish, Zach Sim of OrangeBloods.com joins us at 8 o'clock to recap what happened in Arkansas. We got a special guest, Ann Parker Coleman of KView Sports will now be joining us on Fridays at 8:17. And, of course, we will talk Texas football and basketball signees from their transfers. I am your host, Mike Hardball Hardge. My co-host is a WWE Hall of Famer and recognized as the world's strongest man. He is the Mark Henry.
Good morning, Austin.
And, of course, we've got our guy Marcus behind the boards. And if you want to be a part of the show, all you got to do is text the word Texas, followed by your message to 81530. Standard data and message rates may apply. That's the word Texas, followed by your message to 81530. Standard data and message rates may apply. And if you want to get a chance to win a pair of tickets, that's right, we got a pair of tickets to Alice Cooper and Judas Priest. All you got to do is use that talkback feature on that new and improved iHeartRadio app. You know, the one that got us set at number 1 on the presets. Hold that microphone down and leave the keyword of the day. I'll be giving you that keyword a little bit later. But let's get into it. First and foremost, I hope everybody's okay because that weather yesterday was not a fun deal. I saw some videos and some pictures of softball size hail. Softball size hail in the Coppers Cove, Killeen area, Gerald, Florence, all those up north. I pray that everybody's okay and they don't have any damages, but DM your boy if you need somebody to come and look at your roof. Go to hardballhardge.com. No, not .com.
You need to stop it, man. I'm up here. Hey, you know softball size hail can kill you.
Oh, of course. Yes.
Like I didn't hear that.
What the hell? Yes, it was that kind of hail. It was like that, man.
I tell you, this is slowly becoming a comedy show.
I'm just telling you, it was not a good situation for a lot of people. I had to call my sisters and my aunt, and they are all okay.
Can Gerald ever get a break?
No.
Why is it that area of North
Austin,
Williamson County. Yeah. Why do they get so much bad weather?
It's that flat area. It just finds a way to get there, and it's not very fun for us because that's where my son lives now.
Oh, man.
And so I'm like, man, this is where I need y'all up out of there. But everybody's okay. We haven't heard anything bad. So, I mean, seems to be everybody.
Prayers up for all those people out there.
No doubt. And we also need to give prayers to the Detroit Pistons because the Detroit Pistons thought they were on point last night. And all of a sudden, mama, there go that man again.
Your segues just kill me. Oh, that's so good.
They're on their way to Cancun. The Detroit Pistons are. All because of a little guy that used to play in Dallas. No, I'm not talking about that guy. I'm talking about Jalen Brunson.
The other guy.
With the dagger.
Takes a peek at the clock. Thompson digging in defensively. 8 seconds. Brunson stops on a dime. Launches. Oh, yeah! Jalen Brunson buries it. Knicks lead by 3. The Brunson burner ignited. 4.3 on the clock.
Wow. Talk about some stones, creating some separation right there. And Brunson going for the dagger right there. Had Thompson on him. Was able to get loose. Little crossover play. Thrives in these moments. Embraces it. And Brunson wants to move on to the next series. Steps up. And really, he's done it this last 3 or 4 minutes. Drives, pull up jump shots, making plays.
Boom.
Hardge.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of brakes that he had, what kind of car has brakes that are the elite of stopping power, But at first, I thought my eyes told me, "What man? He pushed off."
No.
Like it was. There's no way that he stopped and let that guy's momentum took him out of the frame like that.
You thought
without
it was that
being
Michael
pushed.
Jordan push.
Yes.
Yeah.
Man, it was all breaks.
Yeah.
Like, whoa. The guy said, wow. Yeah. That was one of those things that every athlete can't do.
Yeah.
That's what makes athletics so special and so exciting, is the fact that there are people out there that can do things that no other human can do.
Yeah, and last night, Jalen Brunson was that guy. He was able to close out the game once again. And when you start to look at how this all came about, they were on a 20-2 run, Detroit was. 20-2 run in the fourth quarter.
Cade Cunningham is,
He's
somebody they need to start taking notice of him, because there's not many guys that grab my attention leading into the playoffs like he did.
Yeah.
And then he got into the playoffs, and all he did is in the first round and this round with the Knicks is show us that he is a problem and you have to account for him. And he needs help. He needs help. That's all I can say is that guy right there gets some help. He's like you can start talking about championship.
Well, you start looking at Jalen Brunson and what he's been able to do. He's an all-NBA guard, and he's the clutch performer of the year. And what better way to solidify your worthiness than what he was able to do? This dude, every time I watch him, a lot of folks keep calling him a flopper because he's always on the ground. He's falling all over the place. But he is their go-to guy. And you can sit here and you can say, well, he's a ball hog. Well, he's their go-to guy. They pay him a lot of money, and they know that he can go and make it happen. He finished with 40 points last night, playing 42 minutes. He gave the crowd the wave goodbye on the road. You need to be careful in Detroit. Don't do that in Detroit.
No, don't do that.
But Mikal Bridges, he was clutch as well. Got the big tip in to tie the game up, and then all of a sudden you see what Brunson was able to do. Karl Anthony Towns, he wasn't effective on the scoring end, but he was more than effective getting rebounds. He finished with 15 rebounds, but he had 10 defensive rebounds. And now you got to start putting some respect on his name. Ausar Thompson, he played outstanding on defense. He got caught up. He got caught up in the wash and got flipped by Jalen Brunson. So it was huge victory for them. The Knicks move on. They will now play Boston. You already know what that's going to be like.
Oh, man.
That is going to be a battle. You think this series was physical? The next series is going to be even more physical as well. But the nightcap last night was the Nuggets and the LA Clippers. And to me, this is one of those series that it has obviously gone either way the entire time. You start to look at who's on the court, the playmakers that are there. Each series has been close. Game one, they were what? Game one, it was 112 to 110. Game two, it was 105 to 102. Game three, that was the blowout game, 117 to 83. Game four, it was 101 to 99. Game five, it was 131, 115. And last night, it was 111, 105 with the Clippers winning. We have a game seven, the most beautiful words in sports. We have a Saturday night game seven. But here's James Harden after the victory.
Been in a lot of these backs against the wall games before. You know the heart and determination it takes. 28 points for you. Take me through your mindset, your mentality. How did you approach this one?
Being aggressive. It's the win or go home. So a lot of opportunities to be aggressive, and I took them. We did a good job game planning. See where we needed to make corrections on, and did it. So one more game.
One more game. Didn't want to go home, and this is what Tyronn Lue had to say after that game.
We just got to go for it. Lay everything out on the line, and these are what you live for. Growing up as a kid, being in the playoffs, game sevens, and so we got to come, ready to go, especially with a defensive mindset, but offensively being aggressive, attacking the paint, attacking the basket, and go from there.
I mean, you know as well as I do, Game 7 is a beautiful thing, and it's an exciting time, and all of these playoffs continue to be intensified. Tonight, you have Houston at Golden State. That game in that series, Golden State is up 3-2. They can end it tonight at home. Can Houston bounce back and be ready to go? And then Saturday, you have the Game 7 with LA and Denver.
Wow, we talked about strategy. What a good strategy Kerr made to say, let's pack it in.
Yeah.
And then save it for going home. And I think that's going to pay dividends tonight.
We shall see, and I'm excited about it all. We're just getting started here on a Feel Good Friday edition of the Morning Kickoff. When we come back, we'll talk transfer portal. No, not who's in it, who decided they wanted to come to the University of Texas. We'll talk about it right here on the Morning Kickoff on Sports Radio, AM 1300, The Zone.
As the weather heats up, the action on the diamond gets even hotter. Here's the 0-1. Swung onto the ball, hit well. Out toward right, and you can say goodnight to it. Tune into Longhorn Baseball all season long. The stretch in the payoff pitch. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. Got him on the slider. And the Longhorns with back-to-back strikeouts. From the road to the dish. This is Longhorn Baseball on 1300 The Zone.
Listen to something authentically Austin, the JB and Sandy podcast on the iHeartRadio app.
Southbound 35 seeing stop-and-go traffic between Tech Ridge Boulevard and Breaker Lane. If that's on your route, you can expect a 3 to 4 minute delay. And then northbound 35 between Onion Creek Parkway and William Cannon, moving slow. There is just under a 10-minute delay traveling through the area. I'm Junior Caruso with a look at Austin area traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. A great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get 60% off. Free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
If you've been thinking about getting a new car, maybe trading in the one that maybe you're driving it right now and you're like, you know what? I want to get rid of this one and into something else. Well, you can trade in the car you're driving right now at Apple Leasing and get into a brand new under warranty car for a pretty low monthly payment, lower than if you were to finance that exact same car with one phone call. 346-9977. Again, that's 346-9977. Or you go to their website, appleleasing.com. One of the things I love about leasing cars from Apple Leasing, and I've been doing it for over 20 years, is at the end of the lease, you just turn the vehicle in. You don't have to worry about selling it or trading it in. It just makes it easy. Easy is the key for me, and I bet it is for you because you got a busy life. You want to get a new car? Do it with one phone call. Call Apple Leasing today, 346-9977. Or you can check them out online. Just go to appleleasing.com.
Yep, it's that time of year when CCA Austin has their fundraiser. The who's who of Austin will be there on May 8th at the Palmer Event Center, checking out the live auction items, the silent auction items, all the games, and having some of the best food in Austin. We'll be there as well. There's tables still available. We'll see you at the Palmer Event Center May 8th. Doors opening at 5:30. Check out ccaustin.org for more info.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's Spruce, the new hard-working, worry-free weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people and pets. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Weeds die by the next day. Find Spruce wherever weed killers are sold.
Here's what's trending now on the new and improved iHeartRadio app.
Okay, don't freak out. Chaperone is here, and she is unfiltered on Las Culturistas. I gotta warn you, there is no topic off limits. Plus, Kate Cassidy breaks her silence on Purpose with Jay Shetty. She talks about Liam Payne, and it's an episode you do not want to miss. Plus, Amy Lou Wood drops by On Air with Ryan Seacrest, and she says she felt pretty ugly after learning her casting process for White Lotus.
Explore the latest. Open the free iHeartRadio app and see what's trending now.
Really? Hey there, I'm Jason Alexander, and this is my dear friend, Peter Tilden.
Hey, Jay. By the way, the script says best friend.
Yes, it does, Peter. Anyway, Peter and I met over 25 years ago and became really good friends.
Best friends.
Because we had two things in common. Number one, we like to argue about everything, driving, food, music.
No, we don't. And number two, when things annoy us or they perplex us or just don't seem to make any sense, whether it's something in the news or in our personal lives, we go, really, no, really.
And then we have to find answers.
So we created a podcast called Really, No, Really. It's about finding the answers to all the things that make us go, really, no, really. Jerry Seinfeld wondered why they refused to make the stall door go all the way to the floor in a public bathroom, but he didn't get an answer. We did by reaching out to an expert.
And talking dogs. Really? No, really? We spoke to the pet parent of a dog who's become a social media star to find out if pressing buttons on a soundboard with a paw or a nose is truly communicating, or are they just showing off?
Competitive eaters, they don't chew during competitions. How about that?
Really? No, really?
That's what we heard. So we spoke to some of the biggest champions of the hot dog eats hot dog world of competitive eating to get the answer. And those are just a few of the things we'll explore on the Really No Really podcast with Jason Alexander and Peter Tilden.
Listen on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and listen now.
Join the voice of the Texas Longhorns, Craig Way, each day from 2 to 5 p.m. for the Craig Way Show on Sports Radio AM 1300, The Zone.
Welcome back to a Feel Good Friday edition of the morning kickoff right here on Sports Radio AM 1300. Mike Hardball, world's strongest man in WWE Hall of Famer, the Mark Henry, and of course we've got our guy Mark behind the boards. In the next segment, I will talk Texas baseball, as they got shut out yesterday for the first time in a very, very long time. I think all season long, to be quite honest with you. Against Arkansas, and we'll discuss that, and we'll hear from Coach Schlossnagle as well. But right now, I want to talk Texas athletics, period, because news came out yesterday that the Cotton Holdings Trophy is officially the Texas Longhorns. And for those that don't know, it's Texas versus Texas A&M, and the winner of that gets the prestigious trophy for all of the victories against Texas A&M, or the victories against Texas. And this time it goes to the Texas Longhorns because they have dominated that. But yesterday, Texas made it official and signed all 5 of their transfers yesterday. Tight end Jack Endres, defensive lineman Lavon Johnson, wide receiver Emmett Mosley the 5th, kicker Mason Shipley, and Myrod Watson, I believe is how you pronounce his name, from Syracuse.
Don't make me lie to you.
All have signed their letter of intent to come to the University of Texas. Endres is the one that everybody's been talking about. They believe he's one of those guys that could come in and replace Gunnar Helm right away. And Coach Sark has been very open and honest about being selective in the transfer portal. Who are you going to go and receive and go and pick up out of that transfer portal? And every single one of those are players of need. They're not just going in the portal to just grab people. Yeah. They're going in the portal to make things happen for themselves, and guys that are coming in that can definitely make an impact. He's played 2 seasons at Cal and put up great numbers, and a lot of people keep saying that he is going to be the guy to replace Gunnar Helm. He's going to be that safety blanket for an Arch Manning, a young Arch Manning. So to me, when you start to look at what Texas was able to do, how they were able to do it. That's big for them to go fill that void.
Yeah, I love the fact that they get a polished receiver. But the thing that I like is every bio, I look for it. If I don't see it, I go, it's all right. It's all right. He's a willing blocker.
Yeah.
I like that. That makes me happy. And to see a willing blocker on his list of pluses,
yeah,
and you add that with Mosley, who they say lives to block downfield.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I love it, man. When they say that means you Heinz Ward.
Right.
If you're trying to like go and just take somebody off their feet, that made my day.
Yeah, since you brought up Mosley 6'2", 205, kid who's originally from the Chicago, Illinois area, but he went to Stanford. He's got the most true freshman. He had 525 receiving yards, the most as a true freshman since Richard Sherman, when Richard Sherman played both wide receiver and defensive back. People forget that Richard Sherman did that. But he had 525 and Richard Sherman had 81, excuse me. But you start to look at the position. Again, went out. There's a lot of guys that can go out there and play wide receiver. Texas has recruited well at wide receiver. Right. But there was something that Sark saw in Emmett Mosley V to be able to bring him in and understand this guy is going to help and be a difference maker.
He's different. He's Deebo Samuel. Like, go and look at his film, his highlights, and so forth. He lines up 50% of the time in the backfield and comes out of the backfield running routes against linebackers and he'll get caught on a safety, and he goes across the middle.
Yeah.
He runs a lot of circle and ends and slants. Like, he's a grunt. Like, Texas haven't had that since our guy from Cuero, Jordan Whittington.
Yeah.
Like, so if you can compare him to a Jordan Whittington, like, don't you think Texas needs that?
Well, he's 6'2", 205, so he's a big old dude.
Yeah, he's a big
physical
wide receiver.
Dude. He's a physical wide receiver. So
he's far from 168 pounds like Xavier Worthy.
Yeah, he's a little bit different. So, but Xavier had that speed though.
Hey,
so you can't coach that.
Lightning in the ball.
Yes, right. You can't coach that. One of the biggest moves that I think a lot of people are excited about is Mason Shipley from Texas State, the Liberty Hill product, connected on 31 of 35 field goals through his career. That's 88.6%, and made 111 PATs. He was on the Lou Groza award watch list. He was 15 of 19 on field goals with a long of 60. He made a 60-yard field goal. I don't think you're going to have to worry about that. As my man Eric Henry said, if we're worried about 60-yard field goals, the offense is struggling mightily. But if you can be consistent in between the 40 to 49-yard place, then I think Texas will be just fine. Merritt Watson, the big fella from Syracuse, he was a freshman All-American by 24/7 Sports in 2024, played 13 games with 11 starts at defensive tackle, 31 stops, 1.5 tackles for loss, a pass breakup, a sack, and he helped get Syracuse to a 10-3 record. I think he's going to be a huge, huge success here on the 40 acres. 6'3", 313.
Hardge,
I'll say that for you again. 6'3", 313.
Yeah, and all year I talked about Syracuse.
Yep, you did.
And one of the main reasons why I was talking about Syracuse is how come they can't block this guy? Now you have a defensive lineman that plays not only a two technique, but he plays 3 and 5.
Yeah.
You can put him in any defense. Like he fits in any. He's the most versatile guy that they brought in.
Yeah.
And if you double team him on the same side Colin Simmons is on, that's going to be a sack. It's going to be a sack. You have to double team Collins or run away from him or something. And now you got a guy that's going to hold you accountable on the inside. Like I'm excited about the potential, but more than anything, I'm excited about the player.
Yeah. Well, you start to look at what is needed to be filled. We talk a lot about the Texas football team and the players that got drafted, the voids that are going to be filled by these guys. You start to look at the middle of the line and Bill Norton going to the league, Barron Sorrell, Alfred Collins, guys that have been mainstays on that defensive line are now put in a different position to be able to now go to the next level and have success. Alfred Collins was a second-round pick. We thought that was going to happen. Big Alfred had that opportunity. He had that talent. Now he's in that position. So excited for Alfred Collins. You talk about Vernon, it has already been Broughton, a guy that went in the third round to the New Orleans Saints. They don't just draft people just to draft them. They put things on tape. And so over the last couple of years, when you look at Byron Murphy and you look at Tavondre Sweat, what were able to do with their development. Now you look at Alfred Collins and Vernon Broughton, those guys that are now going to the next level and getting a chance to play in the NFL. You have to be able to fill those holes up, those voids. I think Alex January is going to be a guy that we're going to be talking about for quite some time.
Yeah.
But you got to make sure that you got backup for the backup.
Yeah.
Justice
Terry came in and went straight to practice.
Right.
He didn't, he could have just sat there in street clothes.
Yeah, but these guys are coming in because they want to make an impact. They want to make an impact, and if they're talented enough, they will be on the field. There's no waiting around because you don't get to keep these guys that long anymore because that transfer portal giveth and it taketh away. When we come back, we're going to talk Texas baseball. Tough time in Arkansas, and we'll definitely hear about Texas softball, too, as they got a big victory yesterday against Kentucky. Right here on the Morning Kickoff on Sports Radio, AM 1300, The Zone.
Listen to something authentically Austin, the JB and Sandy podcast on the iHeartRadio app.
Northbound on 183, there's slow-moving traffic between FM 973 and McKinney Falls Parkway, about a 7 to 8 minute delay. And there's also an accident on Lake Creek Parkway at 183. Use caution or avoid the area if you're able to. I'm Junior Caruso with a look at Austin area traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Perfect for instant contact with an aging parent. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get an extra 60% off, free UPS shipping, and add code radio for an extra 5% off.
This is Mark Henry, the world's strongest man. Discover the true taste of Texas at Mom's Food, Smokehouse, and Delicatessen, where everything is handcrafted in-house, from the mustard to the bacon. Proudly featured in the inaugural Michelin Guide of Texas, they source the finest products from local producers. Visit us at 5811 Manor Road, Austin, Texas, or find them at your favorite farmer's market. Pre-order their barbecue today. Don't you keep the best delicatessen in Austin a secret. Tell them Mark Henry sent you.
Right now, the Home Depot has spring deals under $20. So no matter what you're working on, the deals are blooming at the Home Depot with savings on plants, flowers, soil, and more. Then light up your outdoor space with Hampton-based string lights. Was $34.97, now only $19.99. And get the grill going with two 16-pound bags of Kingsford charcoal. Was $19.98, now only $17.88. Don't miss spring deals under $20 now through May 7th at the Home Depot. Subject to availability, valid on select items only.
Hey Austin, this is Cameron Parker with big news. 2024 savings are ending. Customers who switch from Geico, Allstate, and State Farm to Fred Loya Insurance saved an average of $2,300 a year. That's right, customers in Texas saved an average of $2,300 a year when they switch to Fred Loya Insurance. That's almost $200 a month. Wow. Don't wait. Make 2025 a great year by calling Fred Loya Insurance. Call today, 1-800-444-4040. That's 1-800-444-4040. Or visit fredloya.com. If you don't call, you don't save. Individual savings may vary.
The check is good, the experience is smooth, and the reviews online are wonderful at GiveMeTheVin.com. They don't call us America's best car buyer for nothing.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Attention construction superintendents, contractors, and event planners. If you're in the market for a temporary rental fence, call Viking Fence today. The same company that is so reliable with permanent fences can save you time, money, and headaches. Located in Central Texas since 1972, Viking is highly committed to prompt and courteous customer service. Our flexible pricing plans allow you to fix your costs or hit your budget. Ask about our damage waiver rate that will eliminate untimely chargebacks. Excellent work, great service, and an honest reputation. Call Viking Fence today at 837-6411 or visit us online at vikingfence.com. Again, call 837-6411 or visit us at vikingfence.com. When you think temporary rental fence, think Viking.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
The Astros gave up 7 runs over the first 3 innings, failed to sweep the Tigers in Houston. Astros second in the AL West at 16-14. Lance McCullers Jr. set to start against the White Sox Sunday, his first major league appearance since the World Series in 2022. Timberwolves beat the Lakers in Game 5, advanced to the Western Conference semis, while the Rockets avoid elimination. I'm Ronza Moss.
This is 11-year NBA veteran Katina Mobley. This is what's trending from iHeart Sports Network.
Presented by Thrivent. At Thrivent, planning your finances is bigger than money. It's a way to support the people, causes, and community you love. Because the most important thing isn't what you're planning for, it's who. Thrivent, where money means more. Connect with us at Thrivent.com.
It's the Craig Way Show with the voice of the Longhorns, Craig Way. Weekdays from 2 to 5 p.m. Sports Radio AM 1300, The Zone.
Welcome back to the morning kickoff right here on Sports Radio AM 1300, The Zone. At the top of the hour, we'll talk more Texas baseball with our guy from OrangeBloods.com, Zach Sim, as he breaks down this game. And I want to break it down just a little bit, too. As a former professional baseball player, sometimes you have to tip your cap to those that you are playing against. There's some days that is just not yours, and some days it's not their day. But one thing is for sure, when you start to look at Arkansas, and we talked about this yesterday, this is a team that is hungry. This is a team that is ready to get after it. And this is a team that, as they were at one point the number 1 ranked team in the land. It's been musical chairs when it comes to the number 1 ranked team. And sometimes you just run into a buzzsaw. I'll never forget when I took a team to Cooperstown, and my boy JR, he would text me, and I'll give a shout out in just a second. My boy JR went with us, and we took a team to Cooperstown, a bunch of 12-year-olds, and we went and played a team from Tallahassee, and their pitcher was on. I'm talking about on. I looked at our kids, and I said, go up there and battle, bro. because I don't even know if your boy could hit him today. Sometimes you just go up against a guy that is in the zone, that is locked in, that understands. We talked yesterday about Nolan Ryan. His 7th no-hitter was being thrown 34 years ago yesterday. And you start to look at it, and it just happens. It just happens. You face a guy. Texas faced a guy yesterday in Root that was Zach Root, who is 6-3 on the season, who is an East Carolina transfer, who pitched against Texas before a few years ago. But he came out and he dealt. And when I say dealt, I mean he could not be stopped. He threw 8 shutout innings, recording 11 strikeouts along the way, and he only gave up 2 hits. But offensively, Arkansas had those bats working. They swung it well. They drove the ball to all parts of the field, and Texas just didn't have it yesterday. But that's how baseball go, and the great words of Ron Washington, and that is why you played the game. Texas gets another opportunity at them today. Ruger Riojas did not have it yesterday, through 3 2/3 innings, gave up 9 hits, 9 earned runs. All those runs were hits, and he had to wear that. But today you get Luke Harrison, and hopefully he can go back out there. And after the game, this is what Coach Schlossnagle had to say.
You know, anytime you run into a ball game, there are times when something just happens to you and you can't overcome it. And that's what happened tonight. Ruger just didn't have his normal stuff, but Cody gave you something at the end to let you rest your bullpen.
Yeah, I mean, tonight was about Arkansas. You know, they got rained out on Tuesday. They've lost, 3 consecutive series. They got a chance to regroup, go to work, and they're obviously ready tonight. Zach Root's the story. He was awesome. We didn't really put up much of a fight against him, but I don't think – it's not like we weren't ready to play. I feel really good about that. It's just he made really good pitches, and then, you know, Ruger left some balls up. This is a really good team. I mean,
no doubt.
That this happens in this league. It's way more about how we respond to it than it is what happened.
I'm going to take what you just said right there. How do you respond to it? What will you say to him in response to this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not big on meat. I mean,
I'm
not big on meat, but I'll just say that, like, hey, you know, yeah, you tip your cap. They shoved it up our rear end tonight in every sense of the word, and so we're going to be ready to go tomorrow. I mean, they only used 2 pitchers, and they have a lot of pitching, and we have a lot of pitching, but we'll be fine. But it's this league is about when you take those gut punches, can you come right back? And this is the first one we've had all year that was out of hand early, right? So all the other losses I think have been except for the LSU Kate Anderson game. That one wasn't that close, but everything else has been super tight. So it's okay. You know, we'll let our Arkansas celebrate tonight, and we'll be ready to play tomorrow.
Thanks for taking the time.
Thanks.
Yeah, sometimes, I mean, you have to just wear it. You got to grin and bear it and wear it and get yourself up off the mat and be ready to go. As he said, this was the first time Texas baseball had lost a game, I believe, since the 12th. April the 12th. That was the first game Texas had lost. I said it yesterday. They went 15-2 in the month of April. But they'll be ready to go. Tonight's game, 7 o'clock, first pitch. You can hear Craig Way and Keith Moreland, who was doing that interview right there. Keith Moreland and Craig Way start at 6:45 on 103.1 FM, and they'll be ready to go. And if you want to watch the game, you'll get a chance to watch it on SEC Network. Jonah Williams is back. Adrian Rodriguez and Jonah Williams were the only 2 that got base hits, and both of those guys were left-handed, so that's a good start for them. Luke Harrison will be on the bump tonight. But let me just tell you this, man, that is a good baseball team. That is a talented baseball team. And as Coach said, you know, you start to look at, that was a team that was up on against it. They had lost 3 series in a row, and that was a team that doesn't do things like that. College World Series type team. They are special in every sense of the word. But again, you got to play the game, and you get another chance to play it tonight. So it's easy to look at it that way.
Sometimes you if you're losing, you need to recalibrate and have something that's a universal focus.
Yeah.
to bring it out of you. I think that Texas, being that, brought it out of Arkansas last night. And I'm sitting there watching the game, and with a look of bewilderment on my face, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And the people that was sitting next to me go, man, it's a rough night. And I was like, yeah, that's an understatement.
Yeah. That's the first game that Texas has been shut out all season long. And, you know, you start to look at how it happened. And as I said, it was just Root being able to throw the baseball the way that he did and the effectiveness. But like he said, it's the bounce back that you got to look forward to. Also, I want to give a shout out. You know, I got to give a shout out to Hendrickson High School. They're in the playoffs. The game got rained out. They will start at 11 o'clock today. My son goes to Hendrickson, folks. That's why I got to give a shout out to them. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do. That's what we do. But he don't play baseball, and a lot of people are still mad at me because he doesn't play baseball. But it is what it is. But
Come on, Dad.
A lot of kids in the neighborhood play baseball. So big shout out to them. Shout out to McCallum for being in the playoffs. And they will play a double header today because yesterday's bad weather got them rained out. When we come back,
that's a nice Hard Knocks life, man.
Try to give a shout. Coming up next, we'll hear from Coach Sark. He did an interview with one crazy LeVar Arrington, but we will definitely hear from Coach Sark and get his thoughts. At the top of the hour, we'll have my guy Zach Sim, and we'll have a new guest, Ann Parker Coleman, will be joining us for our Friday's edition with Ann Parker right here on the Morning Kickoff on Sports Radio AM 1300, The Zone.
It's the Craig Way Show.
If Jerry Jones does care as much about his fans as he says, try to make some moves that might at least appeal to them a little more than a lot of the moves you made. In other words, like a real personnel person, a real general manager. Make Will McClay the real general manager.
Voice of the Texas Longhorns and Hall of Fame broadcaster. Weekdays from 2 to 5 p.m. on AM 1300 The Zone.
Listen to something authentically Austin, the JB and Sandy podcast on the iHeartRadio app.
Northbound on 183, there's slow-moving traffic between FM 973 and McKinney Falls Parkway, about a 7 to 8 minute delay. And there's also an accident on Lake Creek Parkway at 183. Use caution or avoid the area if you're able to. I'm Junior Caruso with a look at Austin area traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. A great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get 60% off. Free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out?
It's Spruce, the new hard-working, worry-free weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people and pets. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Weeds die by the next day. Find Spruce wherever weed killers are sold.
Leo Schofield spent decades in prison for a crime Jeremy Scott later confessed to. Season 2 of the hit podcast Bone Valley investigates how Jeremy's violent past unfolded and who else may have suffered his wrath.
This is a case that should never happen. If I told you got it wrong, you got the wrong man.
Listen to Bone Valley on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Bone Valley.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let the tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau, they'll fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-813-4011. 800-813-4011. 800-813-4011.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Want to win 2,000 times your money simply by watching sports? With Better Picks, every play will have you on the edge of your seat, as game day just got 2,000 times more exciting. That's right. With Better Picks, you can turn $5 into $10,000, $10 into $20,000, all the way up to $100,000 payouts. So take that pocket change and turn it into real winnings.
And it's super simple to use. Just pick a few players, choose more or less on their stats, and follow along live.
So why would you play daily fantasy anywhere else when you can win up to 2,000 times your money on Better Picks? Go to betrpicks.com or download Better in the app or Play Store and use promo code RADIO to get your first deposit matched in bonus funds up to $77. That's betterpicks.com, promo code RADIO.
Must be 21 or older and in a jurisdiction where Better Picks operates. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned with your play? Call the NCPG at 1-800-522-4700.
The new iHeart app just looks better.
The best feature of a car radio on the app.
It's the presets.
Super easy.
And thank you for keeping it free.
Get in on what everyone's talking about and get the new and improved free iHeart Radio app today.
iHeartRadio.
Sports Radio 1300 The Zone, KVET AM Austin. Your home for the Horns. Make us the #1 preset in your car and on the free new and improved iHeartRadio app. Free never sounded so good.
The free iHeartRadio app has over 100 commercial-free stations waiting for you to explore right now, like 70s Rock Ride, Pink Floyd, Eagles, Van Halen, Tom Petty, Zeppelin, and more.
The way you move, gonna make you sweat, gonna make you groove.
Just open the free iHeartRadio app, search 70s Rock Ride, and listen now. Free never sounded so good.
The Craig Way Show with the voice of the Longhorns, Craig Way. Weekdays from 2 to 5 p.m. Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone.
Now's the time, folks. It's a Feel Good Friday, so now we're giving you a feel good reason to get yourself ready to get a pair of tickets to go see Alice Cooper and Judas Priest, October the 25th at the Germania Insurance Amphitheater. All you got to do is go over to that red microphone on the iHeartRadio app and, of course, AM 1300 The Zone, and leave the word Priest. Priest is the word of the day for a chance to win a pair of tickets to go see Alice Cooper and Judas Priest. All right, let's get into it. Coach Sark had a conversation with LeVar Arrington, and LeVar Arrington is a very interesting young man. He proceeds us on 2 pros and a cup of Joe before the morning kickoff takes off, and but now he also works for the College Football Hall of Fame and the National College Football Foundation. And he got a chance to talk to Coach Sark. And one of the things that he talked about and asked Sark about was the success over the past 2 years.
Yeah, it was really a combination of 2 years, LeVar. The year before, we were in the Big 12. We were Big 12 champs. We went to the college football playoff, and we lose to Washington right there at the end of the game in the Sugar Bowl. And then it was, hey, we're moving to the SEC, and you're going to have some growing pains. It's going to take a minute. And we went to the SEC championship game and lost in overtime, and then went back to the college football playoffs and went back to the semis, and obviously had a tough loss there at the end with Ohio State. But it's been a heck of a journey from where we were at the beginning when we first arrived here to where the program is today. The idea that we've gone to back-to-back CFPs now, back-to-back semifinal games, I feel like our trajectory is on the rise, and we're moving in the right direction. We're recruiting really high character kids. Guys are getting an opportunity to extend their careers to play in the NFL. We're competing for championships. So all in all, like that's the joy in all this, right? You put in the work and you start building the program from the ground up, and now you start to reap kind of some of the successes that come with it.
And the success is obviously getting into the playoffs. Recruiting is up through the roof. So you get another chance and kids want to come here. But one of the things about Coach Sark too is his coaching experiences and where he draws from.
Yeah, I mean, I think first of all, I think to some of the coaches that I got to work under, right? I mean, when I was
ask you about that.
Yeah, when I was at USC, I was working under Pete Carroll.
That's right.
We had a great run in the 2000s, and then I end up working for kind of back and forth. I worked for Nick Saban for a year, then I worked for Dan Quinn for 2 years, and then I go back and work for Nick Saban for 2 more. And just the idea, one, I was fortunate, all 3 different men, but great men in their own right. They knew who they were. And I think that's probably the biggest thing now today from where I was when I was 33 years old as the head coach at the University of Washington to where I am today. I think I know who I am, and I'm very comfortable in my own shoes and my own skin. And I think it allows me to be really real and authentic with the players. And I don't feel like I have to ever put on a front for them. They know exactly who I am. I'm going to love them to death, but I'm going to call them out on their BS when there's BS. And I think they appreciate that about me. And so I think that's probably the key to the drill. It's like, here I am kind of at 51 years old now, kind of in the second half of my coaching career. And I finally know who I am. Right. And it took some time to get to this point because I think ultimately teams take on the personality of the head coaches. I think the good ones, especially. And I saw that firsthand with Coach Carroll and Coach Saban and DQ when we were in Atlanta together. And so early on in my career, I don't know if I understood all that, right? It was like, I want to be like him, or I want to be like him, or I'm going to take that. And at the end of the day, it's like, who am I? And then let's start to convey who I am. Because I think I'm a decent, I'm pretty good, and it's got me this far. So let's be more of me. And then hopefully that the players can appreciate that.
Let's expand on
detailed. When I hear the name Steve Sarkisian, I think detailed. I think buttoned up. I think professional. And if his players take on that personality, of course, you're going to have less penalties. You have less problems outside the field. Buttoned up.
Yep.
Like that was, I can't believe LeVar asked that question. I listen to their show sometimes, and LeVar, he can get off the beaten path.
Yeah, for sure. But one more thing that Sark talked about is being tough all day, and that's what he's trying to convey to his team as well.
Or there's a fair amount of things, and I'm going to hate to like pinpoint one, but we use an adage around here, tough all day. And I truly believe that's who I am. I truly believe that's who I am. And I'll tell you how I got to that. And it's hard to like pinpoint it all, but like I've been through enough stuff in my life, right? And LeVar, you know my story, and most people know my story, right? I mean, you don't go through the things that I've gone through and have some resiliency and have some ability to respond to adversity in your own life, and continue to restore your career and restore relationships and continue to forge forward, when a lot of people maybe in my shoes would have waved the white flag at that point, right? And so how do I instill some of those things that are inside of me, clearly that are in me, into a team? And so quick story, I didn't know how to quantify what that was, right? How do we respond to adversity? We talk about attitude. We say about all this stuff, like a lot of coaches I'm sure you played for, right? In those first team meetings, talk about all those types of things. Well, we were playing Alabama my second year here. And about the second quarter, I looked down the sidelines, and there's Roger Clemens, man. And I was like a huge Red Sox fan growing up. And it was like, there's the Rocket, right? And he's a big man. I don't know if you've ever met
I just met him not too long ago.
He's a big dude, man. I was like, holy crap, man. No wonder
he's tall.
couldn't hit from this guy. He's throwing 100 miles an hour. And so I went up to him in the game. I said, "Hey, Rocky, man, it's great to meet you. I've always been a fan, so on and so forth." And so the game ends, and it's probably midweek the next week. I get a package, and it's a Red Sox jersey, and it's signed Roger Clemens and Cy Youngs and MVPs. And in the end, in quotes, he wrote "tough all day."
And that's where he got it from.
Ooh-wee.
And that's where he got it from. So you start to look at where you draw from, right?
Right.
You draw from different influences. You draw from different people, and you draw from different experiences. And that's what Sark has been able to do with his football team, his career, and now here at the University of Texas, he's brought tough all day.
Man, you did that for me.
Yeah, you got to be tough all
You
day.
know what you said to me?
What?
You don't remember?
Well, I mean, I say a lot of things to you, Mark.
You said don't get satisfied.
Hey, well, sometimes you got to keep it moving, Doc.
Keep wanting more. And I was
Always.
like, dang.
You got to keep wanting it. Coming up next, we got our guy, Zach Sim. He's going to give us his breakdown on what he saw yesterday and what we can expect today as Texas baseball takes on Arkansas. Right here on the Morning Kickoff on Sports Radio, AM 1300, The Zone.
Running a fleet is expensive. So what happens when you cut the fuel bill by 10% with a Coast Fleet Card?
We're saving money and time, which means we're able to take better care of all of our vehicles and our techs, plus our bottom line. Coast has been a real game changer for us.
With Coast, you get smarter spending, stronger security, and real support when you need it. Set spending limits, track purchases in real time, and stop unauthorized transactions before they happen. Coast works anywhere Visa is accepted, so you're not limited to overpriced or out-of-the-way gas stations.
The customer service is way above the company that we used before. Along with the extra security, it's worth saying again, total game changer for us.
Go to coastpay.com/sports and learn how to save an average of 10% on your fuel bill with Coast. That's coastpay.com/sports to save 10% on fuel with Coast. coastpay.com/SPORTS.
Coast Card products are issued by Celtic Bank. All card accounts are subject to credit approval. Actual savings may vary. See terms at coastpay.com. The spokesperson and characters in this ad are actor portrayals.
Are you a business owner, CEO, or responsible for marketing? If you are, iHeartMedia can help you reach your goals and find new customers. We reach more consumers in your target area than anyone else, and we can give you access to those potential customers more cost-effectively across radio, digital, podcasting, and social. We'd love to show you how iHeartMedia can work for you. Get started today at iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
Hey Austin, this is Cameron Parker with big news. 2024 savings are reigning. Customers who switch from Geico, Allstate, and State Farm to Fred Loya Insurance saved an average of $2,300 a year. That's right, customers in Texas saved an average of $2,300 a year when they switch to Fred Loya Insurance. That's almost $200 a month. Wow. Don't wait. Make 2025 a great year by calling Fred Loya Insurance. Call today, 1-800-444-4040. That's 1-800-444-4040. Or visit fredloya.com. If you don't call, you don't save. Individual savings may vary.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T.
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text ORDER to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text ORDER to 42424. That's ORDER to 42424.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Ownwell. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ownwell.com/terms. Estimate based on your neighborhood average and individual results may vary.
When I saw how high my property tax bill was, I was shocked. We couldn't afford this, but I discovered Ownwell. Ownwell reduced my property taxes and saved me over $1,000.
Your property taxes aren't set in stone. They can be protested and they can be reduced.
But instead of filing protests yourself and very possibly losing your appeal, Ownwell does it all for you. But hurry, time is running out to protest. Ownwell has reduced property taxes for hundreds of thousands of Texans and put money back in their pocket, and you can be one of them. And unlike other companies that take half of whatever you save, Ownwell charges just 25%, and that's only if you save.
Now I don't worry about my property taxes. Ownwell reduces it every year.
Sign up now, free. Don't pay unless you save. But hurry, time is running out to protest. Text WIN to 64,000. Text WIN to 64,000. Text WIN to 64,000.
Sports Radio 1300 The Zone, KVET AM Austin. Your home for the Horns. Make us the #1 preset in your car and on the free new and improved iHeartRadio app. Free never sounded so good.
The morning kickoff. The morning kickoff.
It's the morning kickoff with Mike Hardball Hardge and the world's strongest man, WWE Hall of Famer, Mark Henry, on your home for the Horns. 1300 The Zone.
Welcome back to hour number 2 of the morning kickoff right here on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone. In hour number 1, we talk about the Knicks sending Detroit to Cancun. The Clippers force Game 7. We also talk about the transfer portal signings in football, Texas baseball, and we just heard from Coach Sark. But right now, we're going to go to my guy, Zach Sim of orangebloods.com. You can follow him at Zach at the Dish. And last night, Zach, they ran into a buzzsaw. I gave the scenario of when I took a 12-year-old team to Cooperstown, New York, and we faced a kid from Tallahassee. And I told the kids, I don't even know if I would have been able to hit off of that kid because he was just in the zone. And that's exactly what we saw from Root from Arkansas last night.
Yeah, Zach Root was outstanding. I mean, he was one of the top portal arms coming out of ECU for a lot of reasons, and he showed it off last night. He had the 4-pitch mix working, and they talked about it on the broadcast, but, he's not even a fastball first guy. He really uses that curveball, and it's got some big sweeping break. It's got a lot of horizontal break. It's all over the place. Hitters just couldn't get on time with it. And the thing about Texas bats is, they're consistently looking for that fastball first because Coach Lostengle always talks about, hey, it's really hard to hit a good breaking ball. Yep. Well, they showed that last night. I mean, then he had some plus stuff out there on the mound.
Yeah, sometimes, like I said, you just got to tip your cap to him, and then it just happened to be their day. But it wasn't only just the pitching. It was Texas's pitching. Ruger Riojas did not have his best stuff. That lineup for Arkansas came up clutch in some big moments, some big home runs, some opposite field power that was off the top of the scoreboard. I was like, good God. But you start to look at this team and being able to not use their key pitchers on the back end was really important for Texas last night.
Yeah, and the thing about Ruger is really interesting. They must have, I don't know this for a fact, but it kind of seemed like they had a tell on him because when he went to his fastball inside, they couldn't hit it. But when he went to his cutter or his breaking ball, they were sitting that all night long. And he did leave a couple up, to your point. I mean, the one that got hit off the top of the scoreboard was just touched. But it was very interesting because he's not a fastball first guy either. And they were all over it. I mean, they were waiting for that cutter all night long. They were waiting for his breaking ball. And it is a short week. I didn't think his cutter had as much break necessarily, as much spin. His breaking ball wasn't maybe as tight as it normally is, but yeah, they got a hold of him. But I think the takeaway for me was, look, they didn't have a Tuesday night game because it got rained out against Missouri State. So Arkansas has had a day extra rest. They've had more reps in practice, and they're at home. And again, everyone forgets they're a really, really good team. I mean, people are talking about how this is one of the best teams in the nation all season long. But the thing that impressed me the most was Cody Howard came in and gave them 0 runs. I mean, he wasn't perfect by any means, but he gave up 1 hit and 3 strikeouts. And so he preserved Grubbs, he preserved Dillon, he preserved Dre, all the other arms. And I think that's really big for the Horns. And I also think it gives that pitching staff a little confidence going into today where it's, hey, look, Cody Howard has not been a guy that's been used a ton, but against LSU, And against Arkansas, he shut him down. So, you can do it as well. Like, you trust your stuff and go out there. It's a blip.
One of the things that I was noticing was body language. Like, what does Texas got to do to get themselves fired back up, because they looked a little dejected and down about the 6th inning? And is there a process that you go through when you get shelled early like that, and then you have this insurmountable almost lead in front of you?
It's all about just trying to chip away one run at a time. There's not a lot you can do when you're facing a guy of Zach Root's caliber when he's on it like he was last night. And if you look at his last 2 starts, he gave up 5 runs and 6 runs respectively. So it wasn't like, he's unhittable completely. It's just he was on that night. And from a mentality standpoint, you got to take a shower, get a good night's rest, and you got to come out. And the thing about being on the road is you have to out-energize the crowd in the first couple of innings. You know that the team's going to be pumped up. The crowd's going to be pumped up. So you just got to show that energy. You got to show that bounce. They need Jonah out there just bouncing around, doing his thing. Galvan getting guys, geared up and just bring it harder than the other team, if you will, from a mentality standpoint.
We're talking to Zach Sim of orangebloods.com. You can follow him at Zach at the Dish on social media. And I'm glad you brought that up about the pushing it to the side. It's baseball. You're going to play a lot of games. You've had a lot of success. You just ran into a guy that was on and your timing was a little bit off. But Luke Harrison is another guy that's kind of been up and down. He keeps getting wins, keeps his team in the game, but he's been inconsistent on the mound as far as being in the strike zone the entire time. Last week, he looked really, really good. He made some adjustments, got through the game against Texas A&M. What should we expect from Luke Harrison today?
Yeah, I think Harrison's a guy that, again, he's got a lot of experience, just like Ruger. And so he's going to learn from having watched Ruger last night, what was working, what wasn't working. But largely, it's going to be up to Max just to make sure that he's locked in and he's trusting his stuff, right? Hey, Don't be afraid to throw one over the middle. Don't be afraid to kind of attack inside. Kind of the thing that helped set things off is they led off 2 different innings, Ruger did, with a hit by pitch, and then immediately, gave up a walk or a hit. And so Harrison's hit some guys as well. So he's going to have to make sure that when he's coming inside, he's not afraid to come inside and understand if you do hit a guy, now you really need to buckle down and just get a ground ball. Because, as y'all saw, they got some legit hitters. I mean, they're number 1 in the SEC for a reason in hitting.
Yeah, last night they only got 8 hits, but they ended up, being some big hits and timely hits. I wanted to ask you this too, because you brought up Jonah Williams and you brought up Galvan, the energy at the plate and in the field. And it's the same with all the other guys. The top of the lineup really needed to get going. Mendoza didn't have his best game. And as I've said, I'm going to continue to say it, it was just one of those ball games last night for the Texas baseball team. But my biggest question for you is, do you see Texas's offense trying to generate some things, maybe hitting runs here and there, and just try to get some guys going early?
Yeah, I think, once they lost Max Ballou, and then for that time that they didn't have Adrian Rodriguez, the offense hasn't necessarily had the same rhythm throughout. And so they've played with pieces, moving guys up, moving guys down. But I think you're going to see something similar tonight where they're going to try to get something going. If it's Will Gasparino laying down a bunt down the third baseline for a single, or if they try to put some more run on. Last night they got down so big, so early. They really weren't able to use the running game, which they used to great effect. And so it's about putting pressure on the pitcher. And, Arkansas is going to be throwing a guy tonight that's probably only going to go 50 or 60 pitches. He's coming off an injury, and while he's looked good, they're going to want to get to him early and drive that pitch count out, because Arkansas really didn't use their bullpen either last night. They got Jimenez waiting in the wings. They've got a couple other guys. And so, again, getting that early energy, that early pressure, trying to make something happen, even if you get caught stealing, putting pressure on the pitcher is going to be really paramount.
Yeah, and that's going to be something that I know that Texas fans are going to be paying attention to tonight as well. What are your expectations for the rest of the weekend? Obviously, you can't ever count Texas out. Arkansas had a great game, so that's that. And now we move on. But as you watch Texas gets ready to play this game tonight, what are your expectations for the rest of the weekend?
Yeah, I think we'll still most likely see Jason Flores, the freshman, on Sunday, which, makes sense, a lot of it, right? Like they like to hit the ball to the gaps. They like to hit the ball in the air. They're not a small ball club. And so using that cement bag that he throws of a sinker will help negate some of that ability, as long as he's keeping his pitches down, for them to get those big runs. From a Harrison standpoint, again, he's going to give up some runs. That's just kind of what he does. But I think if he's able to give you some length, get you to a Max Grubbs, get you to a Dylan Volantis, I do like Texas' chances. The Arkansas batters didn't look completely comfortable against Bryson Navarre with his breaking stuff. And his stuff, while it's not necessarily as high a velo as Harrison, plays very similar in some ways. So, again, I think that was something to look at tonight of, how much have they scouted Harrison? How much are they ready for him? And does Max Wiener actually start changing up tendencies and calling pitches differently to kind of offset that?
Yeah, it's going to be a fun weekend in Arkansas. First pitch tonight, 7:00. You can watch it on SEC Network. But, of course, you can hear it all on 103.1 FM right here with Craig Way and Keith Moreland. As always, Zach, we appreciate you, and hopefully we'll see something different after tonight's ball game, man. Have a good weekend.
Y'all as well. Take care, y'all.
All right. When we come back, we have Ann Parker Coleman of K-View making her debut with us. Fridays with Ann Parker right here on the Morning Kickoff on Sports Radio, AM 1300, The Zone.
Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone presents the Craig Way Show.
Life is Good by Joe Walsh.
Life's been good, but that's close enough for
right.
Joe.
When I see that album cover, for some reason, he looks like Dale Earnhardt to me. With the mustache. Now, I have to assume he looks like in person.
Right.
Back when it was.
Trust me, if Dale Earnhardt were alive today, he would not look like Joe Walsh. There's not many people look like Joe Walsh how he looks today. Trust me.
Join Craig Way weekdays from 2 to 5 p.m.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Win. That's win. Enter it now.
AM 1300 The Zone.
Listen to something authentically Austin, the JB and Sandy podcast on the iHeartRadio app.
Northbound 35 seeing stop-and-go traffic between Onion Creek Parkway and William Cannon. There's a 10-minute delay. Then a couple areas to try to avoid. There's a wreck on Riverside Drive at Willow Creek Drive. Also got a crash on Wells Branch Parkway at Surrender Avenue. If you do head through those areas, just expect a delay. I'm Junior Caruso with a look at Austin area traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. A great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get 60% off. Free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
Whether you suffer a motor vehicle accident, slip, and fall, or any other unforeseen mishap, recovering from a serious injury, loss of income, or personal property is inevitably your number one goal. At DJC Law, your recovery is always their number one goal. The real people who help real people fight for the rights and compensation they deserve. Navigating the legal aftermath from an accident can be overwhelming, and DJC Law has over 25 years of experience negotiating with insurance companies to maximize the value of the claim and protect the victim's rights. Call DJC Law at 512-888-9999 for a free no-risk consultation. They can meet you in their office, at your home, or in the hospital, and you pay nothing unless they win. Call 512-888-9999. If you're injured in an accident, don't settle. Call 512-888-9999 and get your justice. TeamJustice.com. DJC Law Principal Office in Austin, Texas. Shop simple. It doesn't get any easier. You're looking for a new Ford. You don't have time to spend hours at the dealership. So Truck City Ford in Buda has made it simple. Go online, Pick yours at truckcityford.com. We can bring it to you for a home test drive. Once you determine it's perfect, you can arrange financing, value your trade, and sign all your paperwork digitally. Then simply tell us where and when you want to take delivery. Leif Johnson's Truck City Ford in Buda has made buying a new Ford simple.
At University of Maryland Global Campus, we give our students credit where credit is due. Credit for deciding in the middle of rush hour traffic to go back and get their bachelor's and a promotion. Credit for managing 3 kids, 2 dogs, and a full-time job to pursue an MBA. And credit for serving in the military by day so they can study cybersecurity at night. For over 75 years, we've been helping students receive the credit they deserve. With more than 135 degrees and certificates, students at UMGC can use prior learning or relevant experience to earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's, and graduate students can transfer up to 12 credits toward their master's. At UMGC, you'll find everything from online to hybrid courses and lifetime career services to scholarship opportunities, making your education journey flexible, fast, and affordable. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start May 14th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
And Doug.
Here we have the Limu Emu in its natural habitat, helping people customize their car insurance and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. Fascinating. It's accompanied by his natural ally, Doug.
Limu, is that guy with the binoculars watching us?
Cut the camera. They see us.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Savings vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's Spruce, the new hard-working, worry-free weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people and pets. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Weeds die by the next day. Find Spruce wherever weed killers are sold.
Sports Radio 1300 The Zone. Our blood runs orange.
We got ourselves a new feature that we're going to have starting Fridays, and it starts today. Ann Parker Coleman of KView Sports is going to be joining us on Friday to talk about her experiences here in Austin, Texas. For those that don't know, she's a news anchor on KView. She has moved here from Virginia, and she is a big fan of both football and baseball, but she's got to do some basketball and everything else here in Austin, Texas. So welcome, Ann Parker Coleman. Good morning.
Good morning, y'all. Thanks for having me on. I'm a little nervous. First time. I mean, this is big stuff.
Yeah, don't be nervous. We're here for you because what we want to know is there's a couple things. Obviously, you got a chance to come to Austin, Texas from Virginia. You got a chance to see the College World Series, and you come into a year, and I tell Eric Henry this also. You came to Austin at a time where things were great. I mean, football was outstanding, basketball was outstanding, women's basketball, track and field, and now baseball. Are you the good luck charm that Texas has been waiting for?
Guys, I think I got to take credit for that. I do. Not really. I knew I was stepping into something fantastic like this. I mean, I knew football was going to be huge this year. Women's basketball obviously speaks for itself. And as for baseball, that would be the one that I didn't know how it was going to be in year one. But I'm knocking on wood as I say this, but I have never covered a team that hasn't ended the season in Omaha. So I'm trying to keep that streak going. So I might be some good luck for the baseball team. I will take that one.
And Parker, you don't do it. Don't take that. Don't take that, because as soon as you change something or they lose, they're going to put all the blame on you. You don't want that.
I know, and of course I'm saying that after what they snapped their 10-game win streak last night in emphatic fashion.
No doubt. So let me ask you this, because you have had a chance to, like I said, you've been covering this for the year. And, shout out to Jeff Jones and, of course, Corey Mose over there at KU.
Yeah.
Two of the best to do it in this area, two good friends of ours
Mhm.
as well. But I wanted to ask you this, too, because, covering a different conference, you come from the ACC, and
Mhm.
now you're covering the SEC, and it's supposed to be the end-all, be-all. It just means more. Have you noticed
Yeah.
anything different about covering the SEC as opposed to covering the ACC?
Yeah, I think it depends on what sport we're talking about. And I used to hate when people be like, "Oh no, you just don't get it. The SEC is so different." And now I do understand. Like it is different. It's a bigger ball game. Like it just is, and that means no hate to the ACC, my conference that I grew up in. But with football, it's incomparable. I would say baseball, maybe the talent is better, but not by much. You can make a case for the ACC in that regard as well. But when you want to talk about the passion for it, for SEC baseball, like it is second to none. I mean, seeing how full the dish is, even just on a Tuesday night midweek against a no-name team, like it is wild, the appreciation that people have for baseball around here. And then, I mean, you look last night at Arkansas. I mean, that's a wild environment. Mississippi State just fired their head coach, but when Texas was playing at the Dude, it was full too. It's different. It really is.
Yep. We're talking to Ann Parker Coleman. You can follow her on social media at Ann Parker Cole 1, the number 1. And, you got a chance to sit back and talk to a lot of the baseball players. You did an exclusive interview with Coach Schlossnagle, and you two are understanding what that rivalry is between Texas A&M and Texas and how it all kind of transpired. What was your takeaway from spending some time with Coach Schlossnagle?
I would say my biggest takeaway is just how open he is. I think a lot of people have put a label on him as, being the bad guy. He left A&M for the rival. Like, what a traitor. Like, no, he's a pretty upfront, open guy. Like, he sat down and immediately was telling me just some of the crazier things that had happened to him during that. And you would think that this would be somebody who'd be really closed off, like the internet, his fan base, like everybody turned on him. And he just takes it in stride, really. I was so impressed by that. There was no chip on his shoulder. It was just, hey, this is a personal decision that I made. It was best for me. Came with a lot of pushback, and I am not proud of how I handled every single aspect of it. Like, he's just really open about it. And I would say that has gone like into the rest of the season as well. Like, as a media member, I really appreciate that. For the most part, they're really open, and he's really open about pretty much everything. Like, he'll give it to you straight.
And don't you think that it's good to have change? That if you're not trying to grow and move into a situation that's uncomfortable as a coach or an athlete or as a newscaster, that you're leaving stuff on the table?
Yeah. Oh, I completely agree. And I think, coaching too, like, if you look at your lifespan, like, I'll say it because he told me, he's like, I'm not going to live forever. I'm not going to coach for forever. Like, I have, I don't know exactly what Sauce's actual age is. But, maybe like 10 more years in his career, like, where do you want to end it? Where do you want to go? And so it makes sense too that you'd evaluate and think about how, like, okay, what's the next step that I can take? It might be the last step. It might be my final stop on this whole ride.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We're talking to Ann Parker Coleman. And I wanted to ask you this, too, because I want to get back to the football side of things, too. Texas football has been on what we would like to say an historical run, back-to-back college football playoffs, making it to the Final Four. And now the expectations are going through the roof. What did you notice about this Texas football team and just being around Coach Sark and having the opportunity to talk to him?
I'm going to take this one off field. I would say one thing that I was really impressed with by Texas football was just, it sounds cheesy, but it really is true. And I think it made such a difference on the field, how much these guys love each other. Like, I mean, you even look at the last weekend and Jade flies back from his introductory press conference with the Broncos to be at Makuba's draft party. I mean, we were talking about guys who are ride or die from each other. And that was always apparent whenever we talked to them in post game, just the way that, Michael Taft would always shout out Jade, or just, I mean, they were always giving credit to one of their teammates, or always like flipping it back to one of their teammates. And I never really seen a team maybe that close knit, that loving. I think it makes such a difference on the field, but in their culture too. I mean, you look at what they've done, and it really is, it is incredible. The fact that they've had 23 draft picks in the last 2 years. They're churning out it's just incredible talent. And you know what? Incredible people. I was always impressed with all the players that we got to know. It's amazing. It really is.
And Parker, I'm going to tell you right now, you said loving, and we have this brutal sport that we love called football. And isn't it amazing to see or hear words like feeling and togetherness and loving as it relates to a sport as combative as football?
Yeah. And I mean, that makes such a difference. So, there was a study that was done. I don't know where I read this, but you could tell in the NBA what team was going to win based just on how many high fives they gave on the bench. Somebody's going to have to find that, but whatever team that they did this study on, that team with the most high fives went on to win. Like, it really does make a difference when guys are having fun. And I've spent time in Omaha last year, and it extends to all sports. But like, I remember looking around and being like, Tennessee's having the most fun here. Like, they just love each other. They're having a ball, and that makes such a difference. And it does sound so silly when you think about these really hostile, aggressive sports, but it's like, at the end of the day too, it's how much do you want it for your teammates? How much fun are you having? How loose can you play even when it is game on the line, need to be aggressive? It makes a difference.
Yeah, it definitely does. And you are going to make a difference too, because we're looking forward to our Fridays with Ann Parker.
Let's go.
Coleman. We'll get ready for next week. We'll have some more football conversation, because I want to know what the summer looks like when these times are kind of different, because we're going to go through them too. But we'll talk about it next week. Thank you so much for hopping on with us.
Thanks, guys.
All right, talk to you soon.
Y'all. Take care.
All right. Coming up next, we got our guy, Mark Henry, with the world's strongest take right here on the Morning Kickoff on Sports Radio, AM 1300, The Zone.
Listen to something authentically Austin, the JB and Sandy podcast on the iHeartRadio app.
Northbound 35 seeing stop-and-go traffic between Onion Creek Parkway and William Cannon. There's a 10-minute delay. Then a couple areas to try to avoid. There's a wreck on Riverside Drive at Willow Creek Drive. Also got a crash on Wells Branch Parkway at Surrender Avenue. If you do head through those areas, just expect a delay. I'm Junior Caruso with a look at Austin area traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Perfect for instant contact with an aging parent. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get an extra 60% off, free UPS shipping, and add code radio for an extra 5% off.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Hardball Hardge.
And this is the world's strongest man, Mark Henry.
And we're here to talk to you about myplates.com.
Tell them about it, Mike.
Mark, when you're on the road and looking at the vehicles, what's the first thing you see?
Well, I'm usually a nice car, but the plates, baby.
At myplates.com, you can create a plate that shows exactly who you are.
Like the one I'm thinking about, the world's strongest man. Had to let them know.
Come on, you can get colors, styles, slogans. My Plates lets you flex your Texas pride your way.
Big truck, big attitude, and it's better to have a plate to match.
Hit up myplates.com today and put in the promo code TheZone. That's TheZone, all one word, for up to $55 in savings and make your ride look as good as you do.
Or even better, myplace.com.
That's the way to go. And tell them Hardball Hardge
and Mark Henry
sent you.
So blood cancer patients can reach theirs. Change your life by joining a marathon, half marathon, triathlon, or a cycle event, and you'll change the lives of blood cancer patients.
I am committed. I am TNT.
After 600,000 participants and almost $1 billion raised for treatments, TNT has helped the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society make a significant impact in the advancement of blood cancer therapies that save lives every day.
I am making a difference. I am TNT.
Join TNT. Expand your circle of friends to be part of a very special community. Train with world-class trainers and have the chance to be part of the most exciting endurance sports events in the country. Or train on your own schedule with TNT Flex. Join TNT and fundraise while you train and take part in getting us all closer to a world without blood cancers.
Join TNT now. Go to teamintraining.org.
Right now, the Home Depot has spring deals under $20. So no matter what you're working on, the deals are blooming at the Home Depot with savings on plants, flowers, soil, and more. Then light up your outdoor space with Hampton-based string lights. Was $34.97, now only $19.99. And get the grill going with two 16-pound bags of Kingsford charcoal. Was $19.98, now only $17.88. Don't miss spring deals under $20 now through May 7th at the Home Depot. Subject to availability, valid on select items only.
Point. Hey, you okay? You don't normally miss those shots.
Oh, I just haven't been as regular lately, and it's making me feel sluggish.
You should try Metamucil. It's been a game changer for me. Metamucil's plant-based psyllium fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Ace, you're moving better than you were last week.
Definitely.
Metamucil keeps you moving. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Learn more at metamucil.com.
This is Jill Schlesinger. May is Military Appreciation Month, and I know how much I appreciate the military. I married into a military family. I hear from so many members of the military, and Navy Federal Credit Union wants us to celebrate those who go above and beyond for us every day. If you're active duty, a veteran, or part of a military family, you're eligible to join. At Navy Federal Credit Union, the members are the mission. Learn more at NavyFederal.org/celebrate. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
From the ABA Heating and Cooling Weather Center, this is Zone Weather.
Your Austin area weather, scattered thunderstorms for your Friday morning with strong thunderstorms likely this afternoon, a high near 80. Thunderstorms tonight, a low near 60. Saturday and Sunday, partly cloudy with highs in the low 80s.
This report is sponsored by Randall's. Get fresh spring savings on family favorites at Randall's. This week at Randall's, get fresh boneless half pork loin for $1.97 per pound. And selected varieties of Lucerne shredded cheese for just $1.97 each. Download the Randall's Deals and Delivery app or head in store for more deals.
News has never been so important.
We've got breaking news from Capitol Hill.
And iHeart makes it so easy to stay in the know with 24/7 news on iHeartRadio.
A major breakthrough in medical research.
Live around the clock, so you're never more than 3 minutes away from the stories that matter most.
Extreme weather is impacting millions.
24/7 news, right at your fingertips with the free iHeart app, where you can now make 24/7 news a preset for even quicker access. 24/7 news on iHeartRadio.
Texas baseball plays here on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone.
That beat drop that means one thing. WWE Hall of Famer and the world's strongest man, Mark Henry, brings you his world's strongest take. Take it away, big fella.
Mark,
what's up, man?
You know what time it is? It's time for the world's strongest take of the world's strongest. Ah, gosh. Back then they didn't know me. Now I'm hot. They all on me. Man, it was hard for me to stay in my seat last night. The Lakers lost. I mean, yes, they lost yesterday, and dealing with that took me more than one day. But it didn't help that last night JJ Redick got asked questions, and he alluded to the fact that we need to get in championship shape. And the first thing came to my mind was, if you're going to call Luka out, just call him out by name. Because when you generalize, you put LeBron in that category. You put Rui Hachimura, who has like 2% body fat. You put all these guys that are in extreme shape. LeBron James spends $1 million a year on his body and keeping it up. Luka spends about $59.99 on Budweiser's or whatever beer he drinks. JJ Redick, I feel like, is over his skis. I love the fact that he can scheme shots, and the offense is, not a problem for him because he has pretty good offensive players. But defensively and strategy-wise, he's made a lot of mistakes. And rather than just own up to those mistakes and say, you know what, I'm a rookie coach, these guys have an advantage on me, I will get better. He's not doing that. Rather than saying, okay, I got a veteran team, I need to rest my 40-year-old superstar. 2 minutes in each quarter. Where you do it, that's up to you. I don't care. 10 minutes in, second quarter, 2 minutes before the last 2 minutes, 4 minutes into the fourth. Something. Have a plan. But he didn't. He left guys out there to play the entire duration of the game, overtimes, whatever it was, and it burned them up. The check engine light came on. Overheating. And then you expect them to go out there and perform. Not to mention, you had the opportunity to make some trades to get some big guys. And they didn't do that. Oh, we could win with this system out on the perimeter. Didn't work. But the biggest part of it is accountability. And my problem with him, I feel like he can change some things, Hardge. I think he's got a future. But he's going to have to step up and be accountable. What say you?
I think the biggest thing for JJ Redick is that. I mean, he when he was sitting in this chair, he was able to criticize people.
Oh, yeah.
But like I've said before, when the spotlight is brought back to you, are you going to be able to handle the criticism that goes with the job? And right now, he's not. It's an understatement when you think about how he's failed as a head coach. When you got great players, they make you look good.
Yeah.
They make you look good. They make you think that you're doing things right. Coaching is more than just sitting on the sideline and directing traffic. You got to have a feel for what's going on. You got to be able to evaluate the situations. Where's our pluses? Where's our minuses? Where are we getting beat at? And sometimes you've got to sacrifice one end to get the other one in. And he sacrificed defense for offense, and it failed him.
It failed.
He could have played Jackson Hayes. He could have played anybody that could be a rim protector. Because when you walk into the gym and you walk into your scouting reports, you realize that your big guard that everybody loves still in Dallas isn't playing defense.
He needs help.
He's not a defensive player. So there's your liability. Yes, as we've talked about, he'll go score you a bucket. How many points did he have? He had 28. How many did this guy have? 38. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter that way.
Right.
And then you look at the moments in which you were talking about possibly getting rest. You didn't take advantage of it because you called it your death lineup. It was death. It killed you.
Yeah.
You're out. And now the question is still remain. Firing Darvin Ham, trading for Luka Doncic and getting rid of a double-double machine, a guy that does play defense, who is a rim protector, and he can give you 40 if you need that.
Hardge,
you made a move.
The blanket comments is what I can't deal with. I'm tired of the blanket comments. You saw it on the podcast.
What blanket comment?
The number one blanket comment was yesterday when he said that they need to get in championship shape.
Oh, okay.
That was a blanket comment, but he didn't point it out on one individual.
I see what you're talking about.
He did a podcast with LeBron James, and somebody posted this yesterday, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, man, that was ignorant. JJ was talking to LeBron, and he said these coaches in the NBA, because he wasn't a coach.
Exactly.
He said these coaches think that they're God, that the players don't make the team. Yeah, take your own advice. He needs to go back and look at all those blanket statements that he made with LeBron on the podcast and apply them to his damn coaching.
Yeah.
Because it bothered me to no end to hear him say these coaches in the NBA think that they're God. And I just, he lost me right there.
Well, that's why
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Not going to take it.
And that's where he is right now. And that's the thing that I continue to look at when I say, sometimes when you're on the outside and you get put into that thing, which they call the hot seat, you walking around with asbestos drawers on and they on fire right now. So my man is going through it. JJ Redick needs to take responsibility for his shortcomings, because what
Just
you
say
don't
I'm
know.
sorry, I don't know.
Because what you don't know is you don't know.
Bingo.
So you still got to learn. What did we hear from Coach Sark earlier? Learn from your experiences, and they will guide you to not make those same mistakes.
Oh, man. Hey.
Sometimes I don't hate. Sometimes you got to hate. But I know what I do hate. I hate that we got to end this show in the next segment and send you to Dan Patrick. We'll close out the show, talk NBA, and preview some of the games that are happening tonight right here on the Morning Kickoff on Sports Radio, AM 1300, The Zone.
Join Craig Way weekdays from 2 to 5 p.m.
One time when Bill Schoening and I were doing a Tuesday night game, and there was an umpire behind the plate, Tom Jenkins. And Tom was a rather corpulent fellow, and he lets a pitch go in there. And you hear this pop again. He goes, ball two. Then crystal clear that our field mic picked up was some fan yelling, Jenkins, you fat.
Only on Sports Radio, AM 1300, The Zone.
Bonus bucks. Once you win $1,000 in bonus bucks, you'll have more money to use on your fantasy leagues. Bonus bucks. The winning happens every weekday, right here
on 1300 The Zone.
Listen to something authentically Austin, the JB and Sandy podcast on the iHeartRadio app.
Northbound 35 at Tech Ridge Boulevard, there's a disabled vehicle sitting in the right lane. This has traffic moving slow from breaker lane. There's a 2 to 3 minute delay. And then there's an accident on Riverside Drive at Willow Creek Drive. Use caution or avoid the area if you're able to. I'm Junior Caruso with a look at Austin area traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. A great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get 60% off. Free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
With your busy schedule, there's no way you have time for all those complicated fantasy lineups. But there is time to win up to 2,000 times your money on Better Picks. With Better Picks, you can jump in fast and pick more or less on your favorite player's stats for a chance to win up to 2,000 times your cash, all in the time it takes to listen to this commercial.
Pick, tap, and win. That's it. You can turn that $10 bill in your glove box into $20,000. That's some real excitement.
So don't forget, if it's game day, it's Better Picks Day. Crank up the excitement with Better Picks and play for huge cash payouts. Go to betrpicks.com and use promo code RADIO to get your first deposit matched in bonus funds up to $77. That's betterpicks.com, promo code RADIO.
Must be 21 or older and in a jurisdiction where Better Picks operates. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned with your play? Call the NCPG at 1-800-522-4700.
Hey Austin, this is Cameron Parker with big news. 2024 savings are ending. Customers who switch from Geico, Allstate, and State Farm to Fred Loya Insurance saved an average of $2,300 a year. That's right, customers in Texas saved an average of $2,300 a year when they switch to Fred Loya Insurance. That's almost $200 a month. Wow. Don't wait. Make 2025 a great year by calling Fred Loya Insurance. Call today, 1-800-444-4040. That's 1-800-444-4040. Or visit fredloya.com. If you don't call, you don't save. Individual savings may vary.
Leo Schofield spent decades in prison for a crime Jeremy Scott later confessed to. Season 2 of the hit podcast Bone Valley investigates how Jeremy's violent past unfolded and who else may have suffered his wrath.
This is a case that should never happen. I told you got it wrong, you got the wrong man.
Listen to Bone Valley on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Bone Valley.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's Spruce, a new hard-working, worry-free weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people and pets. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Weeds die by the next day. Find Spruce wherever weed killers are sold.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Chargers sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
At Rocket, we believe everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. So if you're feeling locked out of home ownership, we're here to give you back the keys. We're opening doors, breaking down walls, and doing everything we can to turn renters into owners. And we're not going to stop until we help everyone home. To find out more, visit rocket.com. Rocket, own the dream.
All about the presets.
That is the best new feature. It's like a car radio right on the app. There's a list of what's trending. There's all the podcasts. I love it.
Get in on what everyone's talking about and get the new and improved free iHeartRadio app today.
iHeartRadio.
Get the Apple Leasing Advantage today. Visit appleleasing.com. That's appleleasing.com.
Texas softball is heating up. Catch every pitch.
Field back goes Dill with a warning track to the wall. It's gone.
As the Horns take on the SEC, search Retro Austin on the free iHeartRadio app and listen to Texas softball all season long.
It's been a great week of shows here on the morning kickoff on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone. We had our guy Joe Cook of Inside Texas. We had Danny Davis of the Austin American Statesman. Not Zach, but we did have Zach at the dish. Zach Sam talking all things Texas baseball. We had Ed Parker Coleman. We had Eric Henry of Horns 24/7. And we had Coach Schlossnagle. We had Tommy Yarsh of DallasCowboys.com. What more do you want from us?
What do you want?
But I'll tell you what we want. We want you to get over to the podcast page and download every one of those podcasts and get some of those special interviews that you might have missed. Also, we want to make sure that you understand that Texas softball will be starting at 11 a.m. today. 11 a.m. Texas softball. We're expecting some bad weather, so they want to get ahead of that. Also, you can listen to Texas baseball tonight starting at 6:45 on 103.1 FM. First pitch is 7 o'clock. Craig Way and Keith Moreland on the call. Also this weekend, Mark, the Kentucky Derby. Are you a Derby guy?
I am.
The Derby is this weekend. It will run on Saturday night, 5:57 on NBC. I'm excited about the Derby. I always look forward to this time of year.
One of the hidden gems of America as far as like the party scene.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean the Derby weekend. I was actually parade marshal before in the Derby. You know,
did you have to ride a horse?
No,
I was
in
a
the
horse.
Listen, I don't like you anymore. Hey, thanks for listening to the last episode of the morning kickoff, guys. I can do with a lot. No more fat jokes. I'm not fat anymore.
Nobody said you was fat. Nobody
I'm
ever
big
said
bone.
that. Everybody know you have instructions.
No, man, you're too much. No, but I love the Derby. Like Daryl Griffin puts on the biggest party in Louisville. He's a Louisville guy. Anthony Palm puts on an event. Like it's a hell of a weekend. So if you get a chance to go to the Kentucky, and if you can get on the infield, do
that's
it.
what it's all
there
about.
ain't nothing like the party that's going on the infield.
Okay, so here's some of the names, and I want to see which one you pick. Citizen Bull.
Yeah. Nah.
Final Gambit.
Yeah.
American Promise. Admire Daytona. Luxor Cafe. Journalism. Burnham Square.
Wait a minute.
Grande. Flying Mohawk. East Avenue. Publisher. Tistastic. Render Judgment. Cold Battle. Sandman. Sobriety. Chunk of Gold. Owen Almighty. And Beza.
Beza?
Yeah.
Not Bezo?
No.
Beza. Mohawk, man.
Yeah, Flying Mohawk.
Flying Mohawk, that's mine right there, baby.
Okay, 30-1 odds.
I'll take it.
30-1.
How much do I have to
odds.
bet? Like to make make some money.
Well, I mean, knowing you, it'll be $1. But one,
Yeah. You know me.
I work too hard to be throwing it down the drain.
Okay, I'm willing to bet. Like you tell me how to do it.
Oh, it's just easy.
I'll bet $50 on the horse. Is that
That's
can
great.
I do that?
Oh yeah, you can do that. You can do that. $50 on Flying Mohawk.
Can you call your degenerate cousin and ask him how do I do that?
I guarantee you he's listening right now. I guarantee you he's listening. You said you want Flying Mohawk.
Yes, for $50.
All right. We are not condoning this. These are just for
And if you have a
fun.
problem with gambling,
call
there's
1-800-GAMBLER. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Flying Mohawk. We are not encouraging y'all. These are just marketized conversations.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this, and I like Sandman just because of it. Enter the Sandman.
Of the song?
Yep. And journalism. That's what we do. That's what we do.
Hey man, you gotta stop using my gimmicks, man.
That is what we are in the world of entertainment. That
Okay,
is what
there
we
you
do.
go.
In our world of entertainment, this is what we do. We are called journalists at some point. We ain't writing anything.
I thought you said it was infotainment.
We're definitely infotainment, but we're providing.
Did you copyright that?
No, infotainment. No. It's been used all over the place, man.
Really? Okay.
I don't think
I
anybody
thought you invented
copyrighted
that.
it. No. But one of the things that we do have
Thought you were smart.
is all these folks that we have on our show. when we have a Joe Cook, when we have a Danny Davis, when we have an Eric Henry, journalism is part of their day.
Okay.
Zach Sim, everybody that we have on, that's part of it. So
and Parker Coleman.
That's right. New segment. All right, Mark, tonight, Friday night, Houston Rockets at Golden State. Who's your victor?
I'm going Golden State. They rested. They strategically placed themselves to try to win at home. I'm going with them.
Okay. And then the Clippers and the Denver Nuggets tomorrow night for Game 7, winner take all.
I'm going to go with Clippers. There was no answer for James Harden. And I think that if they stick to the same plan, he'll have the same result.
All right. And then on Sunday night, we have the Indiana Pacers at the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Cavaliers, and more Cavaliers.
All right. I like that. And we'll talk all about it on Monday. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. As always, thank you to Mark Henry. Thank you to our guy, Marcus Spears. And, of course, I want to thank you, the people, for always making it do what you do. And always remember this. Don't believe everything you see, because even salt looks like sugar. Have a great weekend. Peace.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Ownwell. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ownwell.com/terms. Estimate based on your neighborhood average and individual results may vary.
When I saw how high my property tax bill was, I was shocked. We couldn't afford this, but I discovered Ownwell. Ownwell reduced my property taxes and saved me over $1,000.
Your property taxes aren't set in stone. They can be protested and they can be reduced. But instead of filing protests yourself and very possibly losing your appeal, Ownwell does it all for you.